Alright, we're back for another fun-filled look into the past with all these lovely drawings from an old sketchbook of mine. So here we go. Alright, so these guys here. Interesting. Just some random monsters. That looks kind of like old school D&D, what the salamanders looked like in old school D&D, like first edition, second edition. I don't know what they look like now. Probably pretty similar. They usually don't change them up too much. This looks like a, I don't know, three-headed snake, hydra. You got a boa constrictor, a rattlesnake, and a cobra, and then their tails. Yeah, whatever. And then some kind of two-headed griffin or something down here. Looks like we got a weird hammer snake man there, and some kind of Star Wars character wearing a loincloth with horns. Wow. You know, he kind of looks like Leech from Masters of the Universe. Leech from Masters of the Universe has that same mouth. So I'm sure that was probably something that inspired that. Oh boy. More writing. It's always good when I write something on these. Let's see. El Señor Furioso con carne americano es burro. Es burro. Let's see if I can translate that. The guy furious with meat, American, it is donkey. Right. I bet you I thought that was hilarious back in 2001 when I drew this. Luchadors in a fantasy setting. This needs to happen more often. That Lucha Underground show needs to go back in time more often and show what luchadors were like in ancient Mexico under the Aztecs. Oh, God, I love that show. Looks like this is just a random samurai dude with knee pads. Don't know why he would need knee pads. Or maybe I do, and I just don't want to admit it. It's like some D&D races. Probably around that time I was probably getting into 3rd edition. And, you know, you had the small races, the halflings and the gnomes and the dwarves. And then I probably wanted to stick in large races like centaurs and giants or half giants, just like one of my favorite games, Shining Force. So yeah, that's probably what all that comes from. So there's that. This looks like an unfinished one. Oh, I think we're getting into something that's going to require a lot of explaining. That's a very unfinished drawing. You know, I'm going to turn the light on here. I'm not going to redo that. Although I'm trying to cut down on editing. I'm trying not to swear, because I don't want to swear in these videos. I want it to be a little bit more family friendly, even though some of these drawings aren't. But yeah, so... And you'll also notice I've actually got the camera positioned correctly, so I don't have to zoom in on the pictures weirdly. Yeah, that's... I don't know. I'm learning as I go, you know? Just like when I was drawing these things back then, I was learning how to draw. So... There's a nice parallel there for you. Okay, so this one's unfinished, but if we flip to the page, we get a more finished version. So while I was in high school, or just after high school, I got a job working for a local radio station as just kind of a gopher slash... deal with these problems or just sit here and push buttons kind of job. So I was local production on a it was like a shock jock radio show called the T-Man Show. And at the time, I actually enjoyed it. I don't know if I would like it now. It's just not the kind of humor I'm into now. Anyways, on his show, he had he basically just bring in characters who were essentially listeners who would just call in and tell them crazy stories. He had this big black guy named Tiny, and he had a little person, which he called Donnie the Midget. You'll have to forgive me. Those are his words, not mine. And he got them together, and they got the idea to have them make out with somebody's wife live on the air. This was the kind of show it was. And he kept going on and on about how they were superheroes and they fight crime and tongue wives. And T-Man always covered his face on all of his promo images, so that's what that is. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's clearly inspired by, like, Jack Kirby, but Jack Kirby I am not. But, it's kind of funny, I guess, looking back on it. Oh, yeah, I also colored this and sent it to him, which inspired another piece that's coming up. So we'll talk about that when it comes up. I think I scanned this in and colored it in, like, MS Paint or something. It probably looked terrible. But, yeah, this is the black and white version, I guess. So, moving on. Alright, so we've got some more Gelflings. I loved Gelflings, I guess. Yeah, so here's a Gelfling Barbarian, a Gelfling Knight, a Gelfling Wizard, maybe a Gelfling Paladin or something. And a weird club over here that's covered in teeth. Trying to think of something funny to say about this. It's Gelflings. Why was I so obsessed with Gelflings? Dark Crystal's a good movie and all, but wow. This is... Here's another Tengu from Shining Force. Bird Warrior from Shining Force. It's just another thing where, these guys should have been a race in D&D. A D&D setting based on Shining Force would have been a really cool game. I'd love to play a game like that. So this is the other comic we came up with, or he came up with, and then I drew just as a joke while I was sitting around. Superheroes for the New Millennium, Mofo and Manho. These were a guy who accidentally had sex with his mom because he was adopted and apparently ran into her and hooked up with her. Their signal is a vagina in the sky. That was the easiest way I could draw a vagina, I guess. Although you'd think back then there'd be... No, never mind. Since Mofo was trying to hide his identity because he didn't want people knowing who he was, like at work and stuff, he had a blurred out face, so I incorporated that into his superhero design. The MF on his chest, obviously, for Mofo. Manho was a more interesting thing, which I think that episode would stand up today as far as my humor goes, where they literally followed a male gigolo to one of his clients. And it was for real, and it was genuinely funny. Yeah. But they went out, I don't know. He got them together in the studio and just started... He apparently had seen my other comic book thing and got really excited about that and started talking about this. Which one of the comments he said was, "This is so gay," about halfway through the show. which obviously that's not okay nowadays. Probably wasn't okay back then, but whatever. And down here it says one had sex with his mom, the other probably had sex with yours. And that was just another thing from the T-Man show. Oh boy. Some of this stuff is real embarrassing. Okay. So moving on. These are Masters of the Universe characters. This is Jitsu. And this is Fisto. They were two characters that had like metal gauntlets, and Jitsu's was like this, you know, like a karate chop, and Fisto's was a fist, and his name is Fisto, and I don't think you could make Masters of the Universe more homoerotic than having a character named Fisto, which I think they changed his name to Power Fist later on or something. This is an unfinished drawing, probably of Jitsu over here, but yeah. I don't know why I drew Fisto and Jitsu. I just know that I did, and now we're here looking at it. Okay, this is kind of interesting here. This looks like a bony spaceship. And looks like a raptor man with like bone armor and a bone club. Just lots of bones. The bone motif, I guess. And I guess this is the cockpit up here. It's not a bad design, I guess. You could guard yourself with this, you know, junk down here, so that you don't have to get hit. Like maybe this draws their fire when actually you're up here, or maybe I'm probably overthinking it more than I even thought about it back then. So, moving on. Oh boy. So I was always obsessed with doing a webcomic, and I never got around to it. It's easier today than it was back then. I probably had more free time back then. So, I mean, I guess that ship's kind of sailed, but we have like all these characters here. This is clearly a self-insert of me. I mean, I'm like Ernest Cline over here with my self-inserts. Although Ernest Cline's like rich now, so maybe I'm the I guess. As a monkey, I've always kind of had an infatuation with monkeys and how they they're related to us. The Uplift series was a big influence on me and some of my ideas, and that people genetically modifying apes and gorillas and dolphins so that they can be sentient just like us. Obviously a female character, probably an amalgamation of various girls I knew. Definitely April's hair in there. April's a friend of mine. She wore hair like that, and it always looked like a bug to me, so I called her Bug. We got a weird robot down here. A character from Balls. I'm not sure how that would work in there. Maybe he's like an alien race that's made entirely out of balls. I don't know. But Balls 3D was a game that I definitely played on the Sega Genesis, and that's probably what that's from. This looks like Wrath, my D&D character. I don't know how he would fit. Yeah, I did play him in a Spelljammer setting, so maybe he could pop up in a space setting at some point. So, yeah, that's not that far-fetched. And then this little guy, he was in one of my role-playing games. I had an idea for a cute little fuzzy thing that turns into a big, scary, ugly monster. Probably a little bit of Red Dwarf inspiration in it. But it's like, it starts out as this cute little puffball and then turns into like an H.R. Giger monster. But I think that's enough for today. We're going to go ahead and cut it off right here. So if you like what you're seeing here or don't like what you're seeing here, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, or don't, whatever. The call to action things at the end of these videos always seems so forced, but I really don't care. I'm just kind of doing this for fun. This is like a weird therapy session for me, really. So If you're inclined, like, comment, subscribe. If not, you know, thanks for passing through. Let's give a sneak peek of next time. Whoa.